Good evening and welcome to A Place Called Through. We're broadcasting live from WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network. I am the host of A Place Called Through, Patricia Wade Goings. I am also the author of the book Willpower, The Call to Rise Above, available on Amazon. We are so delighted today to have with us as our guest, Pastor Gwendolyn Green, who is going to talk to us with her mission of hope, state to state. But let me just share this one fact with you. WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network and a place called Through share this mission of hope. It's all done through your charitable donations. You know, when you give, it helps us to continue to spread our mission of hope, to encourage, empower others as we do so today globally. And we're reaching more than 2 million people globally. Why? Because of your donations. So if you're giving, we thank you and ask that you continue to sow the seed into this ministry to help us continue on. And if you haven't, take that time out today to do so by going to WYTV7.org. Remember, WYTV7.org. Sow your seed today. And we're welcoming with us today Pastor Gwendolyn Green. Welcome to A Place Called Through.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Well, we thank you for taking that time out of this busy schedule of yours to share with us about this mission of hope that you have with state to state. You know, we're all now faced with this horrific pandemic, and it's not just affecting just one state or one country or one county or one family. It is as well state to state, as you know, it's nation to nation. So talk to us, if you will, Pastor Gwen, about this state to state and what is the mission here?
Thank you. The mission came about by me being a pastor, and a lot of the people, your parishioners and your congregation is spread out. Pandemic, the effects of it. So there's a lot of pastors just trying to reach the people, myself, trying to get to make sure everyone is sort of like okay or have their needs. And we forget about us leaders. You know, we have needs. We're reaching people. We're steady working. But how did it affect us? So that need came to me when I was like almost not burned out, but got anxious about, okay, I haven't heard from any of my colleagues and how they're doing. And then when you start hearing about the pandemic, this one died, that one is sick. So I got a concern about it. And I went before the Lord talking about it. How do we reach? And he was to begin to tell me, stay connected. And I'm like, how do you connect people? I know people all over. And one day I was on Zoom and it gave, this is the platform that you could do it. And I was so amazed because here I am. How did I reach all these people? You know, the words that go ye therefore in the nation, teaching all of them, you know, going to the uttermost part of the world. And I'm like, how? God, I'm just only one. And it just showed me. And like I said, I was on Zoom and we were happened to be just talking, just our natural group. We got some that come on from Florida, some from Georgia. And so we were just talking and we begin to, I'm like, that's it. Use what you have. Like he asked Moses, what's in your hand? You know, and I'm like, oh, Zoom is right here. So it's an awesome platform. And so I put it out there and other leaders, they was like, yes, because, you know, sometimes we want to talk. We want to be able to reach out to people. We want to hear what's going on. There's so much going on now, not only just the pandemic, but, you know, there's sickness, there's Afghanistan now, there's the controversies of the shots. Don't get the shot. Some people get it, you may get sick. So how do we reach these people? Some people still hungry, some out of jobs. So with that, we was able to pull together a network, a team to say, okay, we'll become ambassadors of our state. And we will reach people within our state, reach out to this minister, this will reach that one. And it's become like a hand-to-hand combat. So with the Zoom, we're able to do it. And not even that, there's other social media out there that we could use. And that's our start. That was the call. The call was being made out of concern about the leadership, being able to reach their people, not only their people, but reach out to each other. Because when you always leading, my thing is sometimes we bleed and we have to lead while we're bleeding. But no one wants to hear us because they're looking for us to be strong. They're looking for answers from us. And 90% of the time, we don't have the answers. But we would try to make sure that our people are secure, make sure that they're protected, that we take them to God in prayer. But who's praying for us? So that was our thing, that coming together, praying for one another, praying for your part of the state, and then you can reach other states and other people. So it gave us an awesome platform.
And that would bring me into one of the points that I was going to go to, is about, as the leaders, as the pastors and the church, because the church, is a very important role in the communities. You hear the cries of the people, as pastors, people are constantly calling you, this is going on. I can't find this, or I don't know how, or what am I supposed to do? And in light of, COVID-19, and now we've got a new variant going on that's just really spreading more rapidly than, initially. So now you're getting this increase in the calls and the concerns. Family members are losing family members, close friends, are passing because of COVID. So there is a rapid increase, but there is also a greater demand on the leaders, the pastors, and the church, because the church is one of the integral parts of the community, and people seek that within the church for the help. I mean, and as you stated, it's not just, people look at, oh, well, I'm just going to church just because. No, they're going because there is a great need. But in as much that you're kneeling and you're surrendering, helping somebody else, who is there for the pastors, the leaders, and the church's hall? So there is a great call in state to state. And then, you so indicated, you're reaching multiple states. It's not just one state. It is going, and I know that you shared with me, your goal is all 50 states. So we're hoping that that will happen, and that the leaders and the pastors and the church will find strength together. But to go back to that thought, who actually is helping those leaders, and who's helping the pastors, and how is the community able to help the church at this point?
Good. I know one of the cliches we would say, well, God helping us, but God also help us while we helping ourselves and while we helping each other, because He commanded us to go. He said, when I was sick, you didn't visit me. When I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was naked, you didn't clothe. So we have that commission to go and helping with the team and network. We also, Sister Pat, we got to be very careful. We can't let our guard down also, because we're not exempt from sickness. We're not exempt from heartaches and pain. So we have to be careful to realize we're not Superman, and we're not Superwoman, and we're not supernatural. So while we praying, we still have to be aware of our adversary also. And it becoming eye-opening that while I got my hands open, I still have to have my heart open. I still have to follow the guidelines, follow the laws of the land also. And saying that is that the pulling and the demand is, a lot of times the people are looking for their needs to be met. But what about our needs? And most leaders have families. Some of them have jobs. and they have families and jobs. So pulling away and tugging now, the demand is so heavy until we need each other. And that's what state to state is all about. Maybe there's something that we could do that we have that could help, that goes global. There's global help out there. There's national help out there, resources. So what we're doing, we're sharing resources that we could pull from state to state, or we could get some information that may be helpful or needed that we could pass out that won't make that leader so thin. Like you won't draw them so thin that would you have everybody as a teamwork working together, it makes it easy. And then it keep us from being like now, used to go door to door, visit people door to door. You really, you can't do that and put yourself in a safe environment. So now there's places where now you have groups and you got teams, you got people on the front line that goes and sort of do that, and they know how to do it. Knock and leave, whatever it is, you knock and you put it at the front door. You need groceries. Now they got where they have, you could call in and have the groceries delivered. So it's so many ways that we share. So this is all about sharing also.
And so, back to the question about how can the community, how can, the congregations help lift this load for the pastors and the leaders in the community, because you're feeling the brunt of everything, because you listen to every concern, you try to be that problem solver for as many people as you can. So what would you say if there's someone that's listening or watching us today that says, okay, well, look, my pastor, I understand now what they're going through. What can I do as a member of the church, a member of the community to help that pastor or that leader? What would you suggest that be done?
But number one, we have to teach them to have faith in God, just like we do. And then comes the help, the natural help, because you can't, some people are very needy. We know they're always in need of something, very needy. But you can minimize that when you have a team. Normally with the state to state, we want to put together a team networking with one another. You have, like I said earlier, when you say the community, there are community foundations, there's community help. There's resources within the community that you got volunteers ready to help. So with that, once we are in touch with what's going on in the community, not inventing the wheel, it's already out there. But there's a lot of things that limit it because a lot of the places are closed down because of the pandemic. So a lot of resources, people are leaning more on the church. So you got to find the need of your community. What is closed down? What resources that they was getting that's now is not available. And then try to match that need, coming together with other leaders within your community, because one community working with another community and another community makes it a whole state effort. So that's what it is, to be abreast of what's going on in the community, what's closed down. Now things are opening back up now, but there's still a lot of resources that they was getting, and even people on fixed income. It's only going to stretch so far. So when you know that in your congregation, you have people in your congregation that's willing to help. Those people that's willing to help, those are your eyes and your legs, those are your mouthpiece. They will help put things together, because you got people that love to help and they're good at it, good hospitality. So you use those people and they are the ones that really keep you informed. It keeps you, then that way you could go visit someone that's really maybe critical, or that family that just lost a loved one. You could really go there more so than going out trying to help you with groceries or help you get to a job. So it just putting together those resources and networking within the church. Even though a lot of church doors are still closed, there's still ways to minister unto your people. You still have to, even though the doors may be closed, God is still requiring you to feed your flock, to still minister to your flock, to still take care of the sheep. So it called putting together. Back in the day, we'd say willing workers, a working team. Put together some willing workers.
And that is true. One of the things that, we have to continue to remember, even though we are in a state of pandemic, it's going to take all of us to help each other to get through. And that does include helping the pastors, the leaders, and the community at large. We have to provide those resources, known resources. We can't sit back and hold back, because this is a situation that affects all of us. We're going to take a quick station break for a minute. We ask that you stay here with us, Pastor Green, and we'll be coming back to our listeners and our viewers to continue talking to Pastor Gwendolyn Green here on State to State, right here at a place called Through Inspirational Moments with WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network. We'll be right back.
We're calling all golfers, amateur and professional alike, to come tee off at the first annual Tee Off for Youth Financial Literacy Golf Classic Charity Tournament on October 30th from 1 to 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Join WYTV7 at the Old Sycamore Golf Plantation and help raise money to train, mentor, and support the next generation of literate, creative, and independent young entrepreneurs.
And welcome back to A Place Called Through, where we're broadcasting live today from WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network. We've been sharing with Pastor Gwendolyn Green today about State to State. It is a mission of hope, a mission bringing people together all across the states as we unite together as one to help one another, providing those valuable resources, praying, teaching, and helping educate each other in whatever way that we can, because we're in a national pandemic. And so there is no limits on how we can help. We have to stay together, we have to help to each other, and we have to most certainly pray together. And that is the mission of State to State, to bring people together across the states. And we're hoping that all 50 states join in this wonderful program to help across the board. So if you're in Washington and you feel like you can help South Carolina, please reach out to Pastor Gwendolyn Green, and she'll send you her information of how you can reach her to join this wonderful mission. But we're talking about, the struggles that the pastors, the leaders, and they go through so much themselves while they're being called on daily, to help other people in the community. So we're talking about those resources and trying to meet some of those needs as well, of those pastors and leaders who give so much of their time to help those that, and I mean, everybody's situation is unique. Somebody needs you for one thing, someone may need another thing. But, we all know that it's only done together, and that God gets the glory in all that we say, in all that we do. Then we are successful once we have done according to the will of God. But I want to share a fact with you. One of the things that, in doing so, that we kind of looked at earlier was that one of the scriptures says that Jesus told his followers, "Let your light so shine before men that they will see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." And that comes from Matthew 5:16. And, in doing that research, it said we can shine brightly by reaching out to those who are facing not only the physical, financial, but emotional crisis because of the coronavirus. And, mental illness is on the rise now, even more so. It's more devastating. There's so much unknown yet about this coronavirus. So people are having all kind of, challenges. There's more substance abuse. There's more physical abuse. But it says that churches can show the love of Christ in practical ways, offering the relief and hope in time of fear and of the crisis. The challenges caused by the virus are opportunities for us to shine our light of Christ in the midst of darkness. And, I really believe that, because living, through this coronavirus, there are times where we face these moments of darkness because it's still so much unknown. They said, get the vaccine, we got the vaccine. And now they're coming out, you need to get a booster. So, we've got to kind of find these methods to encourage and inspire, as we do here on WYTV, each other in those ways that we are motivating and we're helping with the mission of state to state. So we want to continue talking to Pastor Green about her state to state. Where do you see state to state in the next 2-3 years?
Next 2 or 3 years, I see state to state strong in all 50, reaching out even the other countries. And that's because the cry has been made. Pandemic is a sign. We can use the root word panic. Seems like everybody's panicking. It's making them panic. And you're so right. Is scientists is trying to do everything. Doctors are trying to do everything. The governor, each mayor is trying to make sure they cover. Not even just that, the school systems, they have a great demand. They have to what I say, sometimes they have to step across the line to make a difference for safety, even for the children. But I want to go back and because it's tell your testimony, just because this little part that you said. When we're reaching out and you say many times you don't even know what the leaders are going through. People can even deal with mental illness or different things. And that's where I'm dealing with my daughter from the pandemic, being shut in, different things, her anxiety attacks. And so I have a daughter that has mental illness. Matter of fact, she's in while we're speaking. Hope I'll be picking up by tomorrow. But leaders, I have to lead, even though I have my own. I have I adopted 4 children. So now they're in their teens. I got a 13, a 16, 17, 18 next month, and a 19. So I'm in that pandemic stage that even when the schools closed at the beginning of the pandemic, I was in college myself, trying to finish my master's. But I couldn't do it because the schools closed and they sent everybody home, and at that time they didn't have laptops for everybody. So I'm trying to work with my laptop. So then I had to quit, out of minds, because now I'm home trying to get them prepared. And now I'm the teacher and not being taught in my class. So now here I'm having to teach multiple grades, yet and also being referee, because it's different in your home than it's at your church. You just preaching and teaching and going to see, but when in your home, a lot of times we don't know what the leaders going through in their own homes. And yet they still, like we said, being pulled and tugged. And I'm a wife. I'm a wife. So I have a lot. So it's imperative, it's critical that I keep a team, a support team around that help to minister. Because people sometimes they get it wrong. They think a minister is just behind the pulpit, calling just a priest. But a minister is a servant. A minister is called to serve. You minister to the people. So anybody, you don't need a title to minister to people. You just got to have a caring heart. So with that being said, I could see why he chose me to pull these things, because so many leaders is going through about some of the same things. I'm going through some critical points. I met some that have lost 2 or 3 loved ones just out of their immediate family. So that with that being said, we have to, sometimes we learn how to serve the people through our experiences. So when we're going through that, we have to have a support team. and pray to state to state. So many people is going through some of the same things you're going through. So you have someone that have experienced some things that you could glean and get some insight on how to better deal with that.
Mhm.
You know, how to better serve someone else that you have gone through, or some things that you haven't gone through. I know so many people have picked up since they said marijuana or whatever is legal, have picked up marijuana, and a lot of their children, their people have gotten addicted, not just to marijuana, but things that is laced with it, or other type drugs getting fit. So it is just so much going on now. It's not just about feeding the natural man, but this is about feeding the spiritual man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you 100. And that would bring me to a question that I was looking at earlier. And the question is, how might God be calling us to respond to the impacts of this pandemic?
Whew. He gave us that great commission. Love the Lord thy heart with all that mind, all that soul. And then love one another as yourself. Sometimes it's the love. It's the love that makes you stretch a little more. But you got to realize too, again, if you go out there stretching, unprotected, just help. You got to have some common sense.
Mhm.
You got to have common sense. If you lack wisdom, you better ask God for that wisdom, because you need that wisdom. But He will see us through. He will protect us, but we can't test Him either. We can't tempt Him either. You know, we can't just go out there just nonchalant like there's nothing happening. We have to realize it's real.
Yes, it is.
It's real, and it's bigger than us. So state to state, that's was our slogan. This is bigger than us. That's why we're reaching out to state, because helping, caring for the people, coming to their need or their aid with teaching them by God is bigger than us. So this call is bigger than me.
So, Pastor Green, because we're kind of running out of time, we certainly want to thank you for being our guest today on A Place Called Through. But if there's any of our listeners or our viewers that want to reach out to you and be a part of State to State, can you please tell them how they can join up with your mission and support you?
We are getting ready to rebuild our website, but for now, you can always reach us by phone, 843-304-4234. All the information is on that phone. You can always reach us. We send out our flyers. We try to reach as many as we can, but that's our tag now, is that website that I was hoping it would have been made by the time we had this thing, but we do have a phone number that they can reach us through. And we are on Zoom every fourth Saturday at 11:30 Eastern time. So come out and join us 11:30 Eastern time every fourth Saturday of the month. So it's like an hour behind when it comes to CT time, and PT, I think it's 3 hours. But come and join us on Zoom and hear more about us.
Well, we certainly encourage our listeners and our viewers to do so. Follow Pastor Gwen Green with State to State for updates and for more information about how you can help be a part of this wonderful mission. Once again, Pastor Green, I sure thank you for being my guest today on A Place Called Through, where we're broadcasting from WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network. We ask you to remember, please, sow that seed today to help us continue our mission of hope, where we encourage and inspire and empower others when we do so globally. I have been your host today, Patricia Wade Goings, the author of Willpower, The Call to Rise Above. And please remember that book is now available at Barnes & Noble and Amazon. So please grab your copy. If you'd like to be my guest and share your story and your testimony on A Place Called Through, you may find me on Facebook at A Place Called Through at Willpower, The Call to Rise Above. And my website is www.willpower.thecalltoriseabove.org, or you can send me a quick email at pgoingswp@gmail.com. And also you may give me that call at area code of 843-608-9744. Again, we thank you for tuning in to us today at a place called Through, broadcasting from a WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network. God bless you. Godspeed. Stay safe.